Welcome back, African Studies students. I'm so sorry that we're going to have to spend a couple weeks online together instead of in person. I feel like we didn't get the chance to get to know each other. It was only a couple days in class. And then you also didn't get to know my systems and the way I do things. So I'm going to walk you through how you're going to kind of go through the materials in class. You don't have a textbook. We forgot to hand those out. It's okay. What I'm doing is I'm curating and finding like articles that would have had similar ideas or clips or things for you to kind of review. So that will be the bulk of the way kind of you'll learn the material. So this will be a little bit different than maybe we would have done it, but that's okay. We can be flexible and pivot and figure out ways to do things, and not a problem. I want to show you basically kind of how the class is set up. Every lesson that we have, which each lesson is about a week or so, you're going to have something called a playlist. This is a playlist. It's just a Google Doc where I've sort of kind of created in a very visual way the types of things you're going to be doing throughout the week. You start at the top and you move slowly through the different sections. It's a lot easier for me to organize links on this than it is on SIS. So it's a lot easier for me to also organize smaller lessons than a giant unit like on a topics page. So I've chosen to do this because I actually think it's a little bit more organized for you guys. And more visual, so it's a little bit easier. So our first day, which you probably noticed because of SIS, is we are going to meet and have class at third and fourth period. I will cover some of these ideas, but I also want to kind of go in a little bit more depth just in case I miss something. This is your pacing guide. So teachers often try and plan out weeks at a time because we have to figure out where we want you to go. And I've offered this to you so that you can follow along. So you can see that we will just spend 1 week on the ancient and medieval empires in Africa. These are your lessons. So we'll be meeting on Google Hangouts and having a conversation here. You do not have class this day, I believe. I've double checked all of this to make sure it's right. But if you don't have class, it says no class, and you do not need to do work that day for my class. Then I have basically 45 minutes of work kind of siphoned out each day. So that you can kind of get a little bit done in days that you would normally have. You have many of the days you have to submit something, so that will be submitted on SIS, okay? And some days I'll have you do like a Flipgrid or something, so you're sharing and reflecting, and you go to those places. Those will all be on the lesson plan, and you'll be able to see it. But you'll see it kind of continues and goes through the weeks. Not everything is filled out yet because I generally know where I want you to go. I actually also know what activities I want you to do, but I also want to see what pace you guys move at. And I don't want to kind of overwhelm you. So I'm trying to keep it generally that week and the next week are filled out, and then we'll kind of check and see and reassess and talk to each other. So I'm really trying to do that to help you. There will be no test this while we're on online learning. It's just not possible to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to kind of learn in different ways with projects and stuff like that. You can find all of the assignments on SIS. You see here that I have you meeting during our double period. Fourth period is our meeting time, so you'll have to come to Google Hangouts, and I'll walk you through how we'll do that. You can also find out what we're going to do in the future, okay? So things will be released on the day you're supposed to work on it, and so sometimes you might have to look at that future thing right here that we tend to forget about in SIS. And you can find out what you have to do. Each day I have siphoned off a little bit of work for you, which I'm doing for my 9th graders. My 11th and 12th graders are just supposed to figure this out from the playlist, but you guys, I'm going to day by day kind of goals for you. So if you open up the first day, it says read articles and follow the clips, okay? And the second day, you'll create something for me. And that's the way I normally teach. I like to give you a presentation on the material, and then I like you to kind of do something with it that's creative and fun and interesting. And then you submit your work. To find where you are going to follow this lesson, you click this, and it's a playlist here, which I'll show you that in a little bit. But this is how you get to your work. You kind of click these things. That's the pacing guide I just showed you, okay? So the lesson structure, as I said, we will be having these playlists, and I have it on the welcome sheet here, but let's do it through here like you were supposed to. Okay, so click here, loads up. And you're going to see that first I have the parts that you're supposed to kind of read and you're supposed to like kind of learn. So it's the review. So So if you end up looking at these articles, you can see that they have kind of great resources for you. This one's on the Kingdom of Axum for Ethiopia, and will help you if you want to know more about Ethiopia. Um, there's also kind of you can hover and you'll see a preview, but there's also kind of Western ancient empires. So these are kind of in the regions that are concerned currently, like Ghana and Nigeria and Mali, and kind of who had empires there. So basically, each of these articles is probably about the equivalent of like a page of reading of that for the textbook. So you're going to read these 3 pages basically, and then you can also go if you're sort of more of a visual person. You can actually go and I have a playlist
What up,
of
African world? It's Home Team here, and I'm back at it with another video of African history.
Okay, so if you look through this, I am going to be adding, and I sort of generally add them in order of like what we're covering. So this is kind of ancient and medieval empires that we have, all the way up to Mansa Musa. So you can go through and like watch these videos if you want and skip them. They are also good for the assignment. So let's say you want to study more about the Wolf Empire, you can go back to this video and watch it, and it'll kind of help you out as well. Going back, once you've done your kind of general pre-work, your research, I will also have a video clip of me walking you through the content that would have been from the book. The book has a bunch of slideshows, so I'm able to kind of curate, and I kind of edit them down a little bit, which is kind of crazy because they're big. It's really big already. But so you'll see what I'll do is you can either look at the Google slideshow without any commentary from me, because I have that link for you, but I'm going to provide a video on YouTube of me walking you through it. It'll be, they can't be longer than 15 minutes, so it won't be forever, but I basically kind of show you highlights. I will not read line to line because you can do that when you look at it, but I'm going to like talk about things that I would have said in class to kind of help you understand. And these cover a couple of different kinds of information as well, so that we're kind of being pretty broad and covering the different empires the best we can. Your assignment for the first round is to create an ancient text. You just click on that, and I have like, this is actually something that I did with other sections. So it's still the same, the class assignment, it's just kind of been modified for online. It was a group project, it's now not. So you can kind of go into this and you'll see the parameters of what you need to do. And by ancient text, I mean like, think of like how like all of these, we have all these stories from various empires around the world, like Rome and the various Chinese dynasties and like India. We have all these like great books from them. We do have some stories from these empires, which is how we know they existed. I'd like you to make a text written by someone living during that time and based off of their values, their history, all the things that you've learned, if that helps. If you have any questions on that, please feel free to email me and stuff. So, and then I provide you more research materials. So if you click on this link here, I'm adding to this. So basically right now, these are things that I have found that will really help you research. They have lists of different kinds of empires and their kind of history and their culture. If something's linked to SIS, you just need to remember that you need to put in your SIS logo. But the Gale, you need to remember that on SIS library databases, the Gale password is there. So you need to get that when you're home to make sure that you can get in. But you should have access to that. So those are some resources to help you make your thing. You do not need to read everything. I'm trying to provide you stuff that if I was in the classroom, I could remind you to find. So this is like a choose your own adventure when it comes to research. Pick the material, the sources that I've given you that work best for you. We're going to have, you're going to submit on SIS, and then you're also going to have a share folder. And the share folder is for when I'm asking you to read each other's work, to talk about it. So this is, I would, first of all, make sure you don't put it in edit mode. Put it in like, when you put it in here, share as a copy, as a view only. But you just kind of add your text here, and we get to kind of read them. I think it's fun. I think you guys get worried, and I just love the creativity that you guys have. So I think it could be really interesting to see the variety of ways we think an ancient text could look. Um, and then when you're done reading the text, you're going to go and show me what you know, as well as talk to your peers, and you're going to see that we'll have a Flipgrid. So you just go into the Flipgrid and you log in with Google and Flipgrid, your Burke account. I've asked it to only use your Burke account. So that's kind of a whole lesson. That's 4 days of work. Okay, so you can pace yourself. You can get through it. We'll start after our meeting, during our meeting on the first day. I'll kind of have you do that, but um, that's how kind of it will go. And you're submitting on SAS, but we're also doing fun things like Flipgrid and everything. So that should help. If you have any questions, please don't forget to email me. I really won't know. Usually the way I know a kid's struggling is by looking at their face while they're doing the work. And I can't do that right now. So I really need to either meet with you over email or Google Hangouts. We can make an appointment and just chat about what you're working on, and I can kind of give you some advice. It can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It does not need to be a major ordeal. Just let me know. We can work on it. As I said, the most of the work will be submitted through SIS to be graded. Sometimes there'll be things like Flipgrid where I can't have you submit on SAS, and I'll just check the website after the due date time is over. The late policy is all work needs to be handed on the day of the class time. I'll give you a day, and then I have to send a comment. That's the Burke kind of way we're handling this. So make sure you try and kind of pace yourself and go every day. And then after you finish this video and you get all the way through this, I want you to do a Flipgrid, basically talking about how you're doing. So I will know you did this if you actually did the Flipgrid. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and healthy, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help. We can make this fun, okay? As I said, no tests, no quizzes, we can make this fun, okay? I hope you're doing well. Bye.